You're watching KJRH TV 2, Tulsa. From KJRH in Tulsa, this is Newscenter 2 live at 5 with Jerry Weber, Karen Keith, and Chief Meteorologist Gary Shore.
The Tulsa School Department suspends several bus drivers after discovering their criminal records.
Good afternoon. 8 bus drivers from the Tulsa public school system have been suspended from their jobs following a criminal background check.
Of the 8 drivers, 2 have been convicted on felony charges, 1 charged with a felony that was later dismissed, and 5 others have been driving on revoked licenses. Newscenter 2's Andrea Crimmins has been following that story and joins us now live from the newsroom. Andrea, doesn't the school conduct background checks?
Karen, the school system does, but it was very limited. Before July of 1985, the school system was not allowed to conduct criminal background investigations. Since then, the legislature has opened up criminal records to anyone who requests them in person. In this case, the background of all 266 bus drivers were reviewed. 3 bus drivers were suspended because of previous felony charges. 2 were convicted, 1 for rape, the other for aggravated assault with a gun. Both were tried and have served their sentences. They were suspended not because of their convictions, but according to the school system, because they misrepresented themselves on their job applications. The 3rd bus driver was charged with a felony in 1959. Those charges were dismissed. Representatives from the Oklahoma Education Association say the school system was wrong to suspend these employees without further investigation.
I think it's inappropriate to be trying people for something that they in effect have been tried, served their time, or had the charges dropped, and now it's being brought up and have to go through it once again. I don't think it's fair.
School Superintendent Larry Zinke defends the suspensions.
Our first responsibility has to be to the students within the school district in assuring parents that we do offer to them drivers driving their youngsters who will present no threat to them.
8 bus drivers had their licenses revoked for improper driving on their personal time. 5 of those drivers have been suspended from work with pay. 2 no longer work for Tulsa schools, and 1 still works for the school system, but on the bus lot, no longer driving. Still, parents' organizations believe the school department should be more careful with hiring procedures.
But I certainly think that perhaps the employment procedures ought to be scrutinized to be sure that they tighten up any possibility that someone will slip through.
In the case of the bus driver who was charged with a felony but not convicted, he may be rehired because technically he violated no law. But what happens to the other 10 will only be known after lawyers for the school system complete their investigation. Karen?
Andrea, is it possible that other school employees may also be checked?
Karen, they're talking about checking all 4,500 school employees for their criminal records. And the OEA says if it comes down to that, if it comes down to some kind of disciplinary action where they involve suspensions, then the OEA may get involved and they may fight it.
Okay, thank you very much. Convicted killer and rapist Kirk McBrain broke out of his jail cell and into another to beat up a fellow inmate. McBrain is awaiting formal sentencing for the murder of a Ponca City teenager. Officials at Kay County Jail say the McBrain attack happened over the weekend. It appears to be a case of revenge against a man who escaped with McBrain back in 1984. The beaten inmate was not seriously injured. There was a mini debate of sorts between Oklahoma's candidates for governor today in Oklahoma City. Democrat David Walters called a press conference to talk about the finances of Republican Henry Bellman. But Bellman made a surprise visit at the Walters campaign headquarters. Walters produced documents that showed Bellman could have been paid a better than market price for some of his land holdings. Bellman denied the charges.
It seems to me that the point that's been made here is that I owe some money, which I freely admit. But I think an even more important point is that I have not in any way at any time ever abused my public office to make money.
Bellman and Walters were also in Tulsa late this afternoon, and Bill Scheel will have a full report on that visit tonight at 6 o'clock. The danger from floodwaters is long over by now, but the city of Bixby is still in the middle of a crisis.
Exactly. Bixby City officials are working almost around the clock to make temporary repairs and find the money for permanent repairs. Now, Newscenter 2's Russell Kinsall joins us live from Bixby to tell us more about the town situation. What are the continuing problems there, Russell?
Well, first of all, as you know, Jerry, Bixby has been one of the hardest hit communities by this flooding. And right now they're battling everything down here from crumbling streets to swarming mosquitoes. On a drive through Bixby, you can't help but notice rows of barricades set up along a number of streets. Floodwaters have washed away roadway bed, making some streets much narrower and dangerous. City officials are scrambling to get some federal money to make repairs, but at the same time, they're worried that a freeze could take a heavy toll on other streets. And joining me now is Jim Barnett, who is the streets supervisor for the city of Bixby. Tell me, the streets condition right now is a major concern for you.
Yes, we've had several places like going on the bridges have been washed out. 134th has been almost impassable, and the erosion just doesn't stop. It just keeps on going. You know, just damage all over the place.
Another problem that you have down here that adds insult to injury are the mosquitoes. Just a few minutes ago, you can almost see some of the smoke behind us still. You're working on some foggers in order to spray for those mosquitoes. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, when the flood came, we lost most of our equipment that we couldn't move, and we're going to this cleaning up and trying to get them back in working order. And during the flood, we lost all of our spray, so we're going to have to restock and get everything back together. It's just going to take a little time.
Okay, thank you very much, Jim. And Jim and other workers are working overtime down here. Tonight at 6, Jerry will tell you about how city officials are handling some other problems like water and sewer main breaks. That's later on. Back to you, Jerry.
Okay, Russell, I know it's a big job in Bixby. Will the flood of '86 mean lower electric rates? Well, the hydroelectric turbines at the Grand River Dam have been working at full capacity for the past 4 weeks, and the electricity being made because of the high waters costs only 1/5 as much as the electricity usually made with coal. But even though the Grand River Dam Authority is saving money, officials aren't sure if or when those savings will be passed on to customers.
That's interesting. Up next, live at 5, another American is taken captive in the Middle East.
And another huge American corporation calls it quits in South Africa. Those stories and more next.
I guess I had to be 16, 17 years old before I saw link sausage, and I thought that's kind of peculiar. But then life's kind of peculiar. But I figured when we started making sausage, people eat it. We better make it, as we do. We'll make the old-fashioned link and the tender, skinless link. Now, you want to talk peculiar, we make a patty, and it's handy, but it's square. But all of them are the same high quality that made Jimmy Dean sausage #1, and they ain't nothing peculiar about that. What's your favorite shape of America's favorite sausage?
For me, dinner time was the worst time of the day. Mom would say, no vegetables, no dessert. But I just didn't like those plain old vegetables. But then, Mom started serving Stillwell breaded vegetables. They were crispy, crunchy, delicious. It changed my whole life. Now I even look forward to dinner time.
Stillwell frozen breaded vegetables. So crispy and crunchy, even kids like them.
Jim Jones is trying to be all things to all people.
Not once have I voted for a pay raise.
That's right, not once, but 7 times Jim Jones has voted to raise his own pay.
I've never voted for tax increases.
Jones not only voted for tax increases, he voted against tax cuts.
Jones contended about 75% of his campaign contributions came from individuals in Oklahoma.
But according to Jones's own campaign report filed with the Federal Election Commission, 75% of his money came from outside Oklahoma. You can't fool all the people all the time.
K95 FM, Tulsa's continuous country music station, is now reaching out with a bigger signal to more towns and more people than ever before. If you live in Claremore, Pryor, Wagner, or anywhere in Green Country, listen to K95 FM now. You're gonna love the more powerful, crystal clear FM stereo sound of K95 FM. So listen to K95 FM for continuous country favorites. And now, a new, more powerful signal than ever before.
In world and national news tonight, IBM today became the second major U.S. firm to pull out of South Africa. IBM chairman John Akers cited the deteriorating economic and political situation in South Africa as the reason for the sale. IBM's decision comes one day after GM announced it would sell its South African plant. The U.S. representative from the South African Foundation, John Cheadle, says IBM and GM's pullouts won't mean much to the country.
Most of them sell out to South African shareholders, to South African companies. So what you really have is a transition from American management to South African management.
The sale of IBM South Africa is expected to be completed by March of next year.
Thank you, Jerry. And the United States is expelling 55 Soviet diplomats. The move is in retaliation for the Soviets' expulsion of 5 Americans last week. State Department spokesman Charles Redmond said all 55 diplomats were involved with espionage.
The Soviets were aware at the time of that action at the UN that if they took action in retaliation, that we would then be moving to establish parity at the levels I've described.
Redmond says the U.S. remains committed to continuing talks with the Soviets. The expelled diplomats must be out of the United States by November 1st.
Another American has reportedly been kidnapped in Lebanon. A Lebanese group called the Revolutionary Justice Organization says it abducted 55-year-old Edward Tracy. The group claims Tracy is a spy for both Israel and U.S. intelligence. Lebanese journalists said today Tracy was a converted Muslim who traveled the city selling the Muslim holy book. Tracy was last reported seen on Saturday.
Oral Roberts University Medical School has the American Medical Association seal of approval.
And medical reporter Linda Gelzer is here to tell us what that means to the school's ability to turn out doctors.
This is something that all hospitals work toward. It is a voluntary accreditation, but it's something that that most of them do accept as standard. It seems that Oral Roberts University Medical School is approved for accreditation by the standards of the American Medical Association at least through the year 1989. That was the message from the school's dean, Dr. Larry Edwards, today. Edwards told reporters that the school is growing on target with his expectations.
It's pretty standard for new schools to get accreditation for anywhere from 1 to 3 years if all is going well. Accordingly, in 1985-86, last fall, when the accreditors came to visit, the ad hoc survey team that visited us recommended that we again be accredited for another 3 full years.
Edwards says the AMA looks at a school's financial stability as well as its availability of patient load for students, and ORU met those criteria. Women who take the female sex hormone estrogen during their menopausal years often experience unpleasant side effects. Doctors think some of the effects result from the pill form of the medication. And now drug manufacturers are packaging estrogen in a new form that promises to limit some hormone side effects. It looks like a lot of fancy packaging, but the ingredients are simple to use, and Dr. Toby Bresloff thinks her patients will want to. This patch contains estrogen. It sticks on the skin much like a Band-Aid, and the skin absorbs the hormone almost immediately. Dr. Bresloff says the beauty of absorbing estrogen or any other medication through the skin is that it bypasses your stomach and liver.
Estrogens get broken down and changed in the liver, and some of those products that they get changed into actually cause some of the side effects. So they avoid medicine having to go through the liver before it gets to the rest of the body.
Georgiana Cathy is one of Dr. Bresloff's patients who's been on estrogen pills for years. Ms. Cathy has experienced all the side effects: nausea, water retention, and high blood pressure.
Patients who already have a blood pressure problem usually don't get put on estrogens. The company that makes these patches feel that they're going to alleviate their problem because you won't have the same effect on the whole blood pressure system by using the patches rather than the pills.
For Georgiana Cathy, convenience is the name of the game. She can apply a skin patch only twice a week and get small doses of medication continuously. She thinks it's easier than trying to remember to take a pill. For now, the skin patches may cost slightly more than pills, but for some women, the patch's convenience and effectiveness will offset that price.
That was interesting.
Convenient and nice for women.
Very good.
Something needed to be done. Thank you very much. Coming live at 5, Gary's got the forecast.
And there's a new move to help the city's hungry. We'll tell you all about it next.
When it comes to lumber and home improvement products, remember, long-term value comes from products that do the job well and last. Like these quality products from Sutherland's. A single control bath faucet in antique or polished brass finish, only $38.88. quality products, fair prices, full service. That's the key to long-term savings in lumber and home improvements. It's your total ticket that counts at Sutherland's, helping you build it better.
If you want to lower your energy bills this winter, you can either bundle up or you can install a new, high-efficiency gas furnace. Improved combustion systems help make new gas furnaces up to 40% more efficient than older models. And nothing makes a home more comfortable than warm gas heat. So stay comfortably warm. Call your gas heating dealer and save a bundle. Here in Oklahoma, gas gives you more for your money.
At your convenient Cooper Tire store, when someone asks for quality, price, and value, one tire leaps to mind. Cooper, the top notch for less than top price. Now get a Cooper Lifeliner 365 steel-belted radio at super savings. Come in today and ask for Cooper tires, and you'll get a big leap ahead with Cooper tires from Lee's Tire Service, Sallisaw.
Mervyn's is really getting around. To celebrate the opening of 12 new stores, they're having a terrific sale for you in all their stores. $9.99 is the grand opening price for great-looking weekend wear. Mrs. Corduroy pants in 6 versatile colors and shirts just made for relaxing are only $9.99 this week. For juniors on the go, fun fleece tops and cute new styles are only $13.99. Join the celebration and enjoy the savings at the grand opening sale at Mervyn's today.
The second annual We Love You Neighbor Thanksgiving Food Drive got underway today. The drive benefits the Salvation Army, and this year the goal is to collect 100 bushels of food for the cause. The chairperson of this year's drive is the wife of Tulsa Mayor Dick Crawford, Joan Crawford. Mrs. Crawford presented the Salvation Army sponsor a token can of food to kick off the event. The food drive is sponsored by over 40 area businesses.
Good deal.
And it's that time of year.
Yes, it is.
Doggone right.
It's also that time of year when the trees are just now starting to change.
And when the radar is picking up something coming in from the west. Not bad, though, is it, Gary?
Moving in right about on schedule, and doesn't look too bad. Mainly some light showers. Right now in Tulsa, the rain still hasn't gotten here, and the temperature is sitting at 68 degrees now. Let's take a look at the rest of the currents. A 49 dew point with 51% humidity, and the winds are out of the south at 10. The barometer falling off now as that low pressure approaches us. Here's Storm Search Radar live, and you can see a large area of mostly light rain, a few little patches of green indicating some moderate downpours, but nothing real heavy about this. It's advancing slowly towards us at about 10 miles an hour, still about 45 miles out. So it'll be after dark this evening before it gets here, and then we'll be having rain on and off through most of the night and morning hours. In Tulsa today, looking at the pollution index, that was in fine shape at 42. Pollen count remains moderate with quite a bit of mold spore in the air. The high of 71 and the low of 49, very close to normals for this state, and we certainly didn't set any records. 1917 had a record low of 30 on this state. That went on to be the coldest December ever through much of the nation. And in 1978, we had a record high of 92. Temperatures right now, look at the contrast. Out to the west, it's only in the 50s at Oklahoma City, up towards Ponca City, where it's raining pretty steadily. But the rain has not quite reached over to the Cushing area. The Dietrich's reporting 69 degrees there now. But as the rain comes in, temperatures will fall across the area from west to east. The rain will be spreading across tonight. Still some low 70s showing up to the east of us where they had the most sunshine today. The clouds took longer to spread across the area. Temperatures in the metro region, mid and upper 60s to the west, 68 in Brookside, but a very nice 72 over at Pryor, and it's 71 at Claremore, and also down south around Muskogee. This evening, increasing clouds and humidity and showers spreading from west to east across the region with light south to southeasterly winds, and the showers getting into Tulsa on a spotty basis around 9 o'clock, then more solid by midnight. Temperatures will be dropping down 63 at 9 and then 59 at midnight, just a slow fall, and the low temperature tomorrow morning about 56 here in Tulsa, with low to mid-50s all around the area. Most of the rain should fall tonight and tomorrow morning, although a few scattered showers or storms could linger tomorrow afternoon, but it looks like a nice improving trend for the weekend. We'll talk about that at 6.
Nothing to be excited about, just a nice rain this time.
That's right, maybe a quarter to a half an inch.
Sounds good.
Water's down, we can handle it.
Yes.
We'll see in about an hour.
Coming up, OPEC may make a move that could send oil prices up.
And down in Gore, the nuclear fuels plant is back in operation. Details when we return.
And now, more T. Marzetti's Salad Ventures. Begin with a leafy bed of bok choy and spinach. Add Chinese pea pods, water chestnuts, and shredded carrots, delicate broccoli florets, and enoki mushrooms. Top it all with the delicious tang of T. Marzetti's fresh buttermilk ranch dressing. You'll find a tempting selection of T. Marzetti's dressings refrigerated fresh in your grocer's produce department. For salad ventures, it's T. Marzetti's.
While taking her daughter to perform in the Fayetteville High concert, Gail Foster had to make an unexpected stop. Their insurance agent also did something unexpected. She knew many service stations close on Sunday, so she arranged a tow, then came out herself. Took them to the concert, and even stayed for the performance. The Fosters have a shelter agent, and that makes all the difference in the world. Personal service. At Shelter, it's a matter of personal pride.
K95 FM, Tulsa's continuous country music station, is now reaching out with a bigger signal to more towns and more people than ever before. If you live in Claremore, Pryor, Wagner, or anywhere in Green Country, listen to K95 FM now. You're gonna love the more powerful crystal clear FM stereo sound of K95 FM. So listen to K95 FM for continuous country favorites. And now a new, more powerful signal than ever before.
At Melton's Appliance Company, Oklahoma's fastest growing Whirlpool dealer, we're having a grand reopening sale. With expanded warehouse and showroom facilities and truckloads of Whirlpool washers, dryers, dishwashers, and refrigerators, we prove daily why more and more people shop at Melton's Appliance. Best prices, free delivery, and Whirlpool's only Tulsa servicing dealer. We take care of our customers. Melton's Appliance Company and Whirlpool, grand reopening sale prices now.
Sources at the OPEC talks in Geneva say the oil ministers are moving toward a breakthrough, a possible plan to restrict oil production for another 2 months and raise prices. The sources say none of the OPEC members has officially accepted the deal. Should it come to pass, prices could go up to $18 a barrel by the end of the year. The Marathon Conference is expected to end sometime tonight. Uranium fuel production is starting up again at the Kerr-McGee plant in Gore. The Sequoia Fuels plant has been closed since a January 4th accident there left one worker dead and released radiation into the air. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission gave Kerr-McGee the go-ahead to restart operations last week after fining the company more than $300,000 for safety violations. Workers were called back yesterday.
If you want to fly from Tulsa to Denver, you have only one choice, United Airlines. But all that changes on November 1st. The old Frontier Airlines planes that used to serve the route are being repainted and used by Continental Airlines. The company will offer 5 flights daily to Denver with rates as low as $49 one way. And with tax reform now passed by Congress, a lot of people still aren't clear about the fate of the IRA tax deduction. In today's Consumer Advice Report, Carol Krause clears up some of the confusion.
28-year-old Kathy Armstrong is coming home from her job as an executive secretary. Like many Americans, she is worried that the new tax law means she can no longer deduct any contribution to her individual retirement account.
I'd be upset, I think, because it is a tax break. You know, it did help me this last year when this is the year I purchased it.
In fact, the IRA is not dead for many Americans. It will still be a tax-deferred investment. In other words, invest now, pay taxes on the interest when you retire, and are presumably in a lower tax bracket. And many Americans will still be able to deduct the full $2,000 invested in an IRA. All those who are not covered by a company pension or 401k plan can still take the deduction. And even some Americans who are covered by a company plan can still deduct the investment. They are single taxpayers who make less than $25,000 a year. From $25,000 to $35,000, you will still be able to deduct part of it on a sliding scale. Kathy, who makes less than $25,000, will still get the deduction.
I feel fortunate that I can still take advantage of that, and I plan on it this year, too.
Married couples who make together less than $40,000 can also take the deduction, and they can deduct part of it if their income is from $40,000 to $50,000. It is based on your gross adjusted income or your income after deductions. And the 1986 IRA is still very much alive. Everyone has until April 15th, 1987, tax day, to make a contribution and still get a deduction. The limit for your 1986 IRA will be the same as in past years, up to $2,000 for individuals, $2,250 for couples with one non-working spouse. For Kathy and the others who are still eligible, those limits will extend to 1987 and beyond. I'm Carol Krause.
I hope that was of some help. Still to come live at 5, Paul Harvey wants to make sure TV and radio broadcasts don't get lost in the air.
Good idea. His commentary is next. Stay with us.
Hillcrest physicians are a very special breed. They work hard to stay on the leading edge. Isn't it nice to know we're here when you need us? Rehabilitation engineers at Hillcrest are dedicated to improving the quality of life. One patient at a time. Isn't it nice to know we're here when you need us?
I needed the money, so I went to my bank to get a loan.
You want what?
It was embarrassing.
He wants a loan.
But still, I tried.
Sorry. We gave you a toaster.
You wouldn't believe how hard I tried.
Who do you think we are? Friedlander?
I need the money. Call Friedlander. Then I called Friedlander. They were really nice people. If you own your house and you have a job, call Friedlander. Ask for a life improvement loan.
You know what? I thought all cheese products were 100% natural, but most have artificial ingredients. Not 100% natural Kraft cheese. That's important, so Kraft put it right here on this new package. 100%. No artificial ingredients, additives, or preservatives. Just 100% natural Kraft cheese. No wonder America spells cheese